Well, friends, I have got a story for you exclusive from UFL News Hub. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get right into it. Yes, you see the headline. There looks to be some movement of UFL trademarks over the last month. XFL Properties LLC and USFL Enterprises LLC combined, they own the United Football League. XFL Properties owns the XFL side of the house, and the USFL Enterprises owns the USFL side of the house. In a recent trademark search, it looks like the USFL side of the house are locking in some names. I'll get into it. The four names are the Oakland Invaders, Philadelphia Stars, New Jersey Generals, and Tampa Bay Bandits. Now, these names have been trademarked by the USFL Enterprise LLC for some time. These trademarks have basically been refreshed and filed on May 6, 2025, and signed by UFL President and CEO Russ Brandon. Now, for example, USFL Enterprises LLC filed their first Oakland Invaders trademark application in October 12, 2021, but that application has been case still suspended since November 19th, 2024. The new May 6th, 2025 application is essentially a do-over because the original 2021 application got stuck in suspension. The refiling basically essentially means they don't want it stuck any longer because they want to use them and they want to use all four of them now. That's what it means. Here is a look at the trademarks here. You have Oakland Invaders, Philadelphia Stars, New Jersey Generals, Tampa Bay Bandits. For a while now, this trademark here with this little thing and the Aviators was in there. You see the Ohio Bulldogs. This has been there. These two at the bottom have been there for a while. But the Oakland Invaders, these are all new, essentially refreshed. And here are all like the different filing names of them all here that you can go look up if you would like online. Let's get back to the story. So, and the ad, go away. Thank you. What could this mean for expansion? So first, let's get this out of the way. Okay, we're friends here. This could mean absolutely nothing. However, if you are interested in refreshing the brands, you would do it for all of the case still suspended trademarks, not just the four. So let's make that clear. I've been working on this all morning, by the way. So there are other trademarks in the USFL Enterprises LLC that are still in this kind of case still suspended mode. So if you were just going to do a refresh of all of them, you would have just done all of them, not just those specific four. And we'll get into why this all kind of makes sense as we move forward, so stay tuned. So there have been rumblings behind the scenes that the league is unhappy with the fan turnouts in Houston and Birmingham specifically. Now, Memphis Showboats fans, Memphis, basically it's on its own island because of its ties to FedEx owner Fred Smith. He is basically the reason why the franchise switched from Tampa Bay Bandits to the Memphis Showboats, because they believe, number one, FedEx now supports the league. They do advertising. They do a lot of advertising with Fox. Fred Smith wants a team in there. They're doing renovations to the stadium, even though the attendance sucks. But the idea is that he will eventually take over as owner, and he's Fred Smith and owns FedEx. So there you go. That's why Memphis still exists. That's why I don't think we'll see it. That's why I'm keeping Memphis out of this discussion and focusing on Houston and Birmingham. Arlington sticks because the city of Arlington paid the league $3 million, allegedly, to use the name Arlington. Their home base is Arlington. So everything turns out that Arlington, Texas will stay there. San Antonio, they got a little raw deal this year with the 4 games versus 5, but they seem to be trending a little bit up. The Michigan Panthers are also trending up when it comes to attendance and interest, and they supposedly have a backer as well in Michigan. So that's why Houston and Birmingham, I put them on this list. Now, could the UFL have 4 new teams in 2026 with Houston and or Birmingham converting to one of the 4 teams? Or are these the 4 new franchises rumored coming in 2026 and 2027? Let's break that down. So these stay, and then 2 of these come in 2026, and then 2 of these come in 2027. that would make sense. But if I am a betting man, we are leaving something out. The Seattle Sea Dragons are set to return not in 2026, what we're hearing, now in 2027. The stadium deal is already paid for by the XFL, so they just need to use that lease. So it's already paid for. They just need to use it, and that's why that's why the Seattle Sea Dragons is in play for 2027. They're having soccer games just like the Audi Field. I've talked about in the past whether the UFL actually might move the season back to February. That's a whole other story because of the World Cup. That impacts the Seattle Sea Dragons Stadium, as does it affect Audi Field in 2026. So that's why the Sea Dragons are kind of out of play, but returning in 2027 is the rumor. There's also Columbus, Ohio has really been on the radar. Kentucky has been on the radar. But again, these locations aren't big bangers, and that's what the league needs. The one thing is for sure, if any of these teams come back online, these are big markets the United Football League desperately needs. Columbus, Ohio would be nice, but you still need New York. You still need California, and you still need Philadelphia. You need these markets. So we need more St. Louis's rather than Birmingham. Yeah, you Kentucky people want a team in Kentucky, but your market is just not moving the dial. We need to lock in the big markets first before we can go into the little markets. So let's break this all down and stay to the end of the video because I've got something about why the Tampa Bay Bandits and why I think these are going to be the new franchises. I will get into that at the end of the video. So you have to stay tuned for this shocking thing I have about the Tampa Bay Bandits that I did not believe it was true until I started working on this article this morning. So the Oakland Invaders all of these teams played in 1983 to 85. They played at the Oakland Alameda County Stadium, filling the void left when the Raiders moved to Los Angeles in 82, but then they came back, and now they left again as history repeats itself, and they moved to Las Vegas in 2020. Now, UFL News Hub sources have told me quite for some time that California was basically off the table because of high taxes and expenses. Now, maybe the league has decided to kind of bite the bullet, given the UFL does have that hub model in place and teams playing out of Arlington. But maybe now they're just like, well, the expenses and the headaches might be worth it after all. Plus, any of these franchises could potentially have ownership backing them. And that's why they would do this. So in Oakland, getting another former NFL city where fans lost their beloved team could give the league essentially another St. Louis. San Diego was said to be the same thing, so I don't know why, but then, San Diego could have done that as well, but Oakland is on the list here. California offers access, of course, to major TV markets that would significantly expand the UFL's media footprint, plus the buzz of Oakland getting a team back that could be huge for the league. There are legions of Raiders fans across the country, and I was funny because when the DC Defenders came in, it was Dan Snyder chants all the time. Now you don't get that because the team has new ownership in the Commanders. I could totally hear F. Mark Davis now at Invaders games in the future as well. Now, I also just don't want to get into the rumors of Mark Davis sticking it to the XFL when they were trying to find a location for the Vegas Vipers franchise. There is that little rumored nugget, whether I would just say that's a rumor that he was meddling in some of that stuff. This would kind of be nice little sweet payback. Like, oh, okay, well, you're going to mess with us, but we're going to put a team right back where you had a team, and it's going to thrive, and they're all going to hate you. And could be a little sweet payback. I don't know about that. I just wanted to throw that piece in about Mark Davis. So next, the Philadelphia Stars. They played their first 2 seasons in Philadelphia, and then they relocated to Baltimore. Yeah, give it up. For the final season in 1985. The team did return, of course, when the USFL rebooted and they reached the championship game in 2022, the USFL championship game where they lost the Birmingham Stallions. I was at that game. My wife was at that game. They did not make the cut when the league merged in 2024. Philadelphia represents the 4th largest TV market, providing massive media exposure and advertising revenue for the potential UFL. The Philadelphia Eagles, of course, they're just coming off the Super Bowl, one of the NFL's top draw, featured in 5 of the 7 most watched NFL windows in recent seasons. So if people will watch the Eagles, they've got the fans. To get traction for those fans, you can watch, to get a fraction of those fans to watch the UFL would blow away any attendance that the Birmingham Stallions have. There also could be a nice rivalry between the DC Defenders and Stars, but where could the Stars play? Well, they could take the DC Defenders route and play the MLS Philadelphia Union plays with a friendly capacity of 18,500, located less than 30 minutes from downtown Philadelphia. Other places include Franklin Field or Villanova Stadium. Leave us a note in the comments of locations that maybe that we're not thinking of, but this was just kind of a quick dive into potential places that they could play. Let us know in the comments. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Next up, the New Jersey Generals played at Giant Stadium from 83 to 85, initially owned by J. Walter Duncan, then sold to current U.S. President Donald Trump after the 1983 season. We won't get into all of that about him owning and then moving the thing or whatever, but the team signed major stars, including Herschel Walker and Doug Flutie. New Jersey also returned in the USFL reboot, and in 2022 dominated the USFL regular season with a 9-1 record, winning 9 straight games after their opener to claim the North Division title and number 1 playoff seed. However, their championship dreams were dashed in that stunning 1914 semifinal upset to the Philadelphia Stars. We thought that the Jersey Generals were just going to run roughshod and win it all. Mike Riley was named USFL Coach of the Year that season. Now, of course, New York metropolitan area has a population of over 20 million people, making it the largest in the United States and among the top 10 in the world. So having a team in that area is critical. That represents the number 1 television market in the United States. If you have a sports league, you need to have a team there. Full stop. This would solve that problem. Now, I know the New York Guardians of the XFL struggled in attendance, experiencing one of the worst crowd averages in the XFL in 2020, despite representing the nation's largest TV market. That could change with a move to a smaller venue in 2026. I know Oliver Luck, that bothered him a lot, that the New York Guardians didn't draw very well, but the XFL at the time had begun discussions about potentially moving the team to Red Bull Arena with 25,000 capacity for the 2021 XFL season, but COVID happened and we know the rest is history. The XFL did reboot in 2023, but decided against having a team in New York because of the cost. They moved the Guardians' names to Orlando, and that's where it's at. So where could the Generals play? The Sports Illustrated Stadium in Harrison offers an ideal 25,000 seat capacity as a modern soccer venue that hosts the New York Red Bulls and the New York, New Jersey Gotham FC. Shai Stadium at Rutgers University in Piscataway provides a 52,000 capacity alternative, and they had opened in 1994 and expanded in 2009. So those are potentially 2 places. Again, throw your names out there about other stadium locations as well. And we'll get into the moves here in a second. The final one, this is the teaser that I give you. So the Tampa Bay Bandits, and I saw this on this list, and I was like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. And I'll tell you in a second. So the Bandits were owned by the Canadian businessman John Bissett, with minority owner Burt Reynolds. Some of you probably don't even know who Burt Reynolds is, so because I'm old. Coached by Steve Spurrier in the 80s, they were also part of the reboot USFL in 2020, but only played 1 season, and they were replaced by the Memphis Showboats. The Showboats did make the cut when both leagues merged. Now, why did the Tampa Bay Bandits disappear? They weren't doing very well. Fred Smith wanted a team. They shut down the Bandits. That's why I'm wearing my Tampa Bay Bandits now, because that was my USFL team, and then moved to Memphis Showboats, and then the rest is history. This location surprised me, as it did not do well in the USFL reboot or under the XFL under the Tampa Bay Vipers. However, I have heard a rumor from sources that NFL legend Tom Brady is interested in purchasing a UFL team, specifically the Tampa Bay Bandits, I was told. And I was like, but they would never, what? They would not, no. And then I saw this. I did not believe that rumor was true until I saw this. Tom Brady lives in the Tampa area. The only reason to bring back the Bandits based on this location, because of its runs in the XFL and USFL, is if they had an owner in place. And if that owner in place is Tom Brady, that would make sense. That's why I was like, whoa, okay. That's why it's just, when you're doing this stuff behind the scenes and talking all these different kinds of people, you try to like piece all these puzzles together. This one was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Raymond James Stadium would probably be the primary place of it as well. The market is the 17th largest metropolitan area in the United States and growing. And of course, if Tom Brady is the owner, you have buzz and national interest, and he lives in the Tampa Bay area. So there you go. There you go. What's that? So this is the thing. So here's a couple points I wanted to kind of make out when it comes to this. Again, the Tampa Bay Bandits Tom Brady connection, that came to life seeing this. And I was like, now that makes sense. If I didn't know about the Tampa Bay Bandits, I would have said, well, they were just kind of refreshing and this isn't going to be anything. This means really nothing. But the Tampa Bay Bandits Tom Brady rumor that I heard just a week ago, and then seeing this, I was like, okay, this is actually the real deal. Now, here's how I would break it up. This is how, let me know what you think in the comments. I think that this is going to be the thing for next season. There's no time to wait. You know, they're already doing season tickets. This is your last chance, Houston and Birmingham, to save your franchises, because unless you sell big, like, you're done. And they've been talking with Philadelphia and New Jersey for a long time about locations. Tampa Bay, they've already had, I mean, they were with the XFL, they were with the USFL. That's not going to be a problem. Oakland, you know, could be, you know, who knows what's happened behind the scenes. Here's how I think this could potentially play out. I think that the Birmingham Stallions, with their 3 championships, I don't know how good they'll do this year, because the, you know, DC Defenders should win it all, or the Panthers, but you never know. Alex Magoo could come back and they could tear stuff up. But let's just say that, I mean, with that winning franchise and Skip Holtz, you move the Birmingham Stallions to New Jersey, and they become the New Jersey Generals. There, full stop. Then you I think he would be a great person to have in that New York, New Jersey market. Skip Holtz as the coach. They're a winning team. They would get interest. I think he's a likable guy, except if you talk to DC Defenders head coach Harris. But you know, I think that's, you move Birmingham to New York. Could you imagine if he was part of the New Jersey Generals from the beginning, and that whole team that he has there built that franchise in New Jersey, and the New Jersey Generals just stayed in the league and were winning in New York? How different things would be if it was that was being wasted in Birmingham. I'm sorry, I'm hating on Birmingham, but you had your shot. You're kicked off the island. The next part, I think that you could move essentially. Then what do you do with Houston? Houston is kind of like a meh. I think you move Houston to Tampa Bay, and because they can weather the storm there a little bit. I think Oakland and Philadelphia, I wouldn't move Houston to Oakland. Like, you need a fresh new franchise with a brand new coach and excitement. You don't want to move a mediocre Houston team to Oakland. People aren't going to get excited about that. You know, getting Skip Holtz to move to New Jersey, people would get excited about it. I don't have a problem with Philadelphia either, but I think you move Houston to Tampa Bay for Tom Brady. Let Tom Brady, you know, get his new coach, do whatever he wants to do with the franchise, and that's fine there. They have some good players, and I think you do that with Tampa Bay. That would make me excited. And I think the brand new franchises with new coaches and new teams would be the Oakland Invaders and Philadelphia Stars. And my wife, who is from California, says they need to hit it big with Oakland to get a big name coach. I don't know who you would get in there. I mean, you throw in Bill Belichick return. I don't think so. But you know what I mean? Like, some kind of massive name in Oakland, a massive quarterback name in Oakland to really get that franchise started. Philadelphia Stars, you bring back Mike Riley. We loved him. He was a great coach in the USFL. Maybe he can take over the Stars or something like that. And that's how you kind of bring these franchises back. So, yeah, a lot to take in there. This was shocking to me. But again, I am telling you, when I saw this and it was a refresh and what it means to do this kind of do-over, essentially it means that they want to use these names now. If they weren't intending to use these names now, they wouldn't have done the refresh. Simple. And if it was just a matter of, just cleaning the books up or whatever, they would have done all the trademarks. You don't want to lose any of these trademarks because you could change your mind 10 years from now. But these 4 specific ones had me intrigued. And then the Tampa Bay Bandits Tom Brady connection that I had heard about last week really had me intrigued. This makes me excited about the future of the UFL in 2026. Let me know. Do you think I have it right? Do you think I'm wrong? Did I name the stadiums wrong? Do these stadiums don't exist anymore? I'm just kind of pulling this out here. Let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, so to recap, the 4 names that the USFL Enterprises LLC signed by Russ Brandon on May 6, 2025 is the Oakland Invaders, Philadelphia Stars, New Jersey Generals, and Tampa Bay Bandits. I could see all 4 of these coming online next season. You have 4 new locations. You dump 2 of them, and you're off to the races. And then you also have in 2027 where Seattle can come back and potentially you bring in, Columbus, Ohio, or maybe, but you've established your league in California, in New Jersey, and Philadelphia, and then you've got St. Louis, and I think you've got 4 strong areas there, and then you've got DC, and I think we're off to the races. So let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and some big news coming out of the UFL side. We'll see how this all plays out, so stay tuned.